Hello there. How are things going? Today I thought we would look through the past photos that I've captured during the autumn period, the fall color in Dalsland series, and explain where episode 6 is. Let's start with that. Episode 6 is just simply a canned episode. When I was editing it, I came to the decision that, well, it simply wasn't enough content there to support a whole video. I did get some nice photos, and we might look at those today. Or you might get to see them today, more correctly. But other than that, and that is the reason why number 6 doesn't exist, and why this is number 8. I can count, but I just thought it might be a funny thing to do, to ignore one episode and push one number even higher. You might not agree. In that case, I'm sorry. I just thought it might be a little bit fun, especially see if any of you were observant enough to see that one episode was missing. And yeah, anyway, let me see. I'm gonna open up Lightroom here on the phone, and we're gonna look at the images that I captured during autumn and basically talk you through what I think of them now a little bit after, since, well, it can be kind of difficult to assess how much you actually like an image when you've just done the editing of it and things like that. Yeah. So let's jump straight into this with the first image. The big panorama of the beginning of autumn, really. The first autumn colors, a early morning with the first rays of the sun shining in or shining out on the trees and everything. I think the biggest mistake I did with that image was that I didn't listen to my own advice. I said in that video that panoramas tend to include too much and not have a clear intention of what to look at and what really it wants to convey. And I think that was the issue with this image. It's simply too much, not a clear... it doesn't have a clear intent for the viewer, so it's simply a panorama, and therefore I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not satisfied about it. I think the lighting is okay, but also I think that those clear days, I've tried to photograph that before, but with the border and everything, it's just not that interesting a scene with the water as a start and the sky. And I mean, there are two shades of blue. Well, I don't like the image. Moving on. The second image is the woodlands composition with heavy side lighting, and I actually like that image. Maybe not a lot, but I'm really proud in a sense of what I managed to do there, since I wouldn't consider myself, at least at that point, being very proficient at woodlands photography. But what I managed to do there, I'm actually really happy with it in that sense. Yeah. The only thing I don't really like about that image is the amount of sky in the background. I think that is detracting a little bit, but it wasn't really that much I could do about it, since I couldn't get to higher elevation in order to look more down on the landscape. So that is what it is. I like it. I still like it. Yeah, maybe we should mention the ratings that I put on the images to begin with. Now, I don't remember exactly the rating that I gave it in the video, so it might not be correct in that sense, but the first image, I would still consider that to be a 1-star image, which means that that is a poor image. It means that I've put effort into it, but I don't like the result. This second image, I would give it a 3-star image now, so it's a good image. It's a solid image. It's good. It's not very good, but it's better than acceptable. So it's a good image. Now the third image, sorry, just a little bit of insects coming in here. The third image is really a surprise when I got it, since that morning I didn't know really what to expect, and I've never photographed in that direction from up at Sörknatten, but managing to find a good composition that integrates into a proper nice scene, and then receiving the, well, basically the perfect light for the scene as well. It's just, it integrates into a really strong scene, a really strong image, and I think I gave it a rating of 5 stars, and I stand by that. It is an excellent image. It really is. I'm very happy with that image, and it's certainly going into my portfolio soon. The fourth image here. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it. I don't remember the rating I gave to it, but by now I would probably give it a 2-star. Said it is acceptable. Yeah, it has some nice light, but it's a little bit too zoomed in for my taste. Actually, I would like to have a little bit more more reference for where it is, in a sense. Yeah, I don't really. 2 stars is what I would rate it at now. The fifth image, and some of you might actually be surprised at the rating I gave it, but I think I gave it 3 stars. I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous sunrise, and I did capture the gorgeous sky, and I have everything in there with smooth water and everything, but I just don't like the foreground. The foreground really doesn't add anything to the image, and therefore no matter really how good the sunrise was and everything, it isn't integrating into anything good. So yeah, but given the quality of the light, I would probably stick with 3 stars on that one. It is a good image. It's not something to be ashamed of, but it isn't anything more than that either. Oh, what image are we at now? I can't really remember. I put the numbers on the screen instead. But this image, yeah, it turned out better than I actually thought it would, but the light isn't really that good. We had a lot of rain during the photo session there, so yeah, I think I managed to get away with something that's alright. Give this image now again 3 stars. It is a good image, nothing more, but it's properly. Yeah, I don't really think I managed to. I could have, or I'm not really sure I could have composed it better, but the composition is just not really working. It's not, the arc that I was thinking of in the foreground isn't really completing. The turn isn't great enough, so the angle of the leading line is not pointing really where I wanted it to. So yeah, but still I would give it 3 stars. It is a okay image. It's a good image, but nothing more. Next image. Yeah, this one. This one I don't really like. And the reason for that is that I have nice elements. The sky is alright, the foreground is alright, the midground is alright, but nothing is working together. The foreground is pointing towards the wrong direction of the sky, which has the vantage point that is not aligning with the foreground, and the midground is dragging towards the left a little bit. So yeah, I would say I don't remember what I gave it, but right now I think I would actually lower it down to a 1 star, a poor image, since it isn't even remotely integrating into what I wanted from the scene. And yeah, the image after that, that's a good one. So it's the image with the ferns, and this composition I'm really happy with, I'm really proud of. One thing that I've been thinking about with this image is whether or not the center point where everything kind of comes together is lacking something. It should have had something there. But then I've been thinking about it a little bit more, and I mean, if you really think about it, it isn't that bad that it just ends with the forest. I mean, the end point being the forest, and the forest just goes on inward. It's not that bad of a concept, of an idea to have as an end in an image, because I mean, that is often how it is. You have a clearing and then it ends with the forest, and then the forest goes on. It doesn't really need to have a big obvious shining point there. As it is in this image, it's dark. It's just dark, and it goes on. I mean, if you look really closely there, you can see the trees going on inwards. I really like this image. I think I gave it 4 stars, so very good. I think I'm gonna keep it at 4 stars actually, considering maybe bumping it up to 5 stars, but I'm not really at that point yet, so I'm gonna keep it at 4 stars for now at least. But I'm really happy with that. That is one of my favorite images of the whole autumn series. And then after that we started off, or we got to Trestiklan. And the first image there, I'm actually surprised by how much I liked it. I think I gave it 5 stars in the video. So excellent image. And the reason I had actually planned to give it 4 stars, but I bumped it up to 5 stars when I put in the other photo as a comparison. Simply because I just liked this version more than the other one, and I already liked the other version a lot. So me liking this one even more, it meant that it has to be an exceptional image, even though I didn't think so to begin with. But I keep it at 5 stars now. I think so. But I think one thing that I would like to do with the image is to work a little bit more on the foreground. Try to chisel out a little bit more details and a little bit more dimension and depth into the foreground. So a little bit more just dodging and burning in the fine work in the foreground there, just to make it even more prominent and stand out a little bit more. So perhaps do a little bit more dodging and burning on it, and then it's definitely going to keep its 5-star rating. So the The next one, oh, this one I actually like a lot. I don't remember the rating I gave it, but it might actually be my favorite image from the whole, from all of my autumn images. And that might surprise some of you, and in a sense it's surprising me as well. I just like the amount of things that are in the image and the amount of depth, and just really I can still look at this image a lot, really a lot, and just be fascinated by the amount of things that is happening in the image. In an upcoming video I'm gonna be talking a little bit about interest instead of wow factor in images, and this image has interest. It does not have any, or some maybe, but it's not an image that screams wow factor, like, ooh, look at that cool thing. No, it's something that you can sit and look and ponder and really enjoy instead. So I really like that image. So I'm probably gonna increase that to 5 stars. I'm doing that right now. The nice thing about having proper Lightroom in a phone, easy to do things like that. And moving on to the next. Oh, I'm missing a couple of images here, I can see. Anyway, the next image was the one with the lines in the water. And yeah, that image is, I'd say that it's an acceptable image. The biggest problem that I have with, or actually a couple of problems with it, the light wasn't really that nice. The foreground didn't really work as well as I hoped. I used a little bit of a longer shutter speed on it and blended a couple of images, and it looks kind of like it's ice. And then the background didn't really hold enough interest to kind of warrant the strong leading lines towards it. So yeah, I would say, I don't remember what I gave it, but I'll probably lower it down to a 2 star if I gave it any higher. It is acceptable, but no, not better. It isn't any better than acceptable. And then the next image after that is the failed morning shoot. And well, yeah, it is what it is. I'm actually, I think I gave it 2 stars, and I'm gonna keep it at 2 stars. It is an acceptable image. It just doesn't have the right light. I mean, the composition is pretty good actually, but it's just too bad that all the leaves had fallen off before I got there, and that it was raining and we didn't get any light behind it. It would probably be a nice composition during a snowy winter, or I'm probably gonna try to go back there next autumn if I get the opportunity. The next image after that, we drove up the road, and in a little bit, or well, yeah. Anyway, that image, this image, I really like this. Yeah, I captured this exact scene once before. I don't think I showed you that image in the video, so I'll show you it now. But this new version here is just a lot better. It works very well, with the water just going through there in the midground, and the nice fall color working its way through the image, and it finishes off with the fog and everything there. It works nicely. Yeah, I'd say that 4 stars, very good. Everything works there. Could have been perhaps a little bit more fog to get a little bit more depth and dimension into the image, but yeah, I really like it. Some scenes don't really warrant a exceptional rating, so no matter how good the lighting is for certain scenes, it's never going to be exceptional. Or do I call 5-star exceptional or excellent? Might be excellent. Anyway, you get the point. I don't know my own rating system. Arr! Well, the next image here. This one is very interesting. I really like this one. As you might be remembering from the video, it's not really a stream or a waterfall to begin with, but it is a but it is a trail. And yeah, well, everything just falls together in this image, really. The water just leads straight up to the green background there, that has a little bit of separation from the water droplets in the air, which, e.g. a little bit of mist. And with the trees and everything just works. I think I gave it 4 stars. I might actually increase it to 5 stars. I'm probably gonna do that. I really like that image. I really do. It's definitely a portfolio image. And the next image after that, yeah, this image, it's alright. I think I gave it 3 stars, a good image, and I'm gonna keep it at that. It is a good image, but it isn't really my preferred style of image. It's more of a portrait of that tree rather than a scene, if you understand my meaning. Basically, the only thing I'm really drawn to the image is the tree. Perhaps a little bit of the leaves and the moss below it, but behind it, it isn't really anything interesting. So it is more of a portrait of that tree rather than a scene. So it isn't really my style, but it is a good image. And yeah, I'm gonna keep it at 3 stars. And that is that concludes all the images. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video where we went through and looked at the images again, gave you another chance to look at all the images and having me talk a little bit about them. If this is something, a style of video that you enjoyed, please tell me down in the comments, and we might be able to make this a more regular type of video on the channel. So perhaps every 5 videos or something, somewhere where I find it's a good place to have a little bit of a break, we could make one of these videos and look at the past couple of episodes, at the photos that I've taken there, and look through those and look at them in a little bit more detail, talk a little bit about them, so that you get the rating system is a good way for me to give you a first my view on the image, but it isn't. I'm not telling you in depth or even that much about why. So this is a way for me to tell you more why I like or don't like a specific image. So it might be a good way for you to get a better understanding of my photography and why I do certain things the way that I do them. So yeah, if you enjoyed it and like it, if you want to see more, then remember to subscribe, and I'll see you all soon again. Until next time, goodbye.